Okay, I think this is part four. I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy Vintage Card Steve. Thanks for inspiring me. I wasn't even sure anybody was even paying attention to these videos or continuing wanting to see more. So appreciate you reaching out like that. So let's get going. I've got no orders. I've got nothing to ship out. So no reasonable offers. I may as well do it. So right here we have this is, I believe, part four of this mini series I'm doing here, if you will. This is the fisheries building. I forgot the title there. I had to unzoom. But as you can see, pretty elaborate buildings as well. I don't remember if we added up on this or not, or ended up on this or not. Pardon me. But you know, pretty impressive architecture. I mean, it's just it's a that's quite the feat with horse and buggy and hammer and chisel, and it's quite the accomplishment. I got to try to adjust the camera a little bit here if I can. Oh, I don't know what I did there, but let's get in there. Let's see some of the. Oh, see, it looks like there's something. Oh shoot! You'd think I'd get better at this. I was gonna say there's something between the pillars again there, but I can't get in there finally enough to check it out this time. But interestingly enough, on the next page over here is I'll show. So this is kind of funny how they do this. I'm gonna try to get on the. So as you can see, it's a different building, but it says details of the Fisheries Arcade. Okay, so the Fisheries Arcade is a building that is not attached to those other buildings, evidently. And I want to zoom back here a little bit because I want to, if anybody wants to pause it and read that, it goes into detail about how they talk about they try to explain how the reasoning for this building looking so, I don't know how to put it. It just doesn't look as it looks. The details aren't there. It's a different kind of building. It's a different kind of architecture. The details aren't the fine details aren't in it like the other building is, and the other ones were. So it tries to explain that basically right here. So if you wanted to pause that and read that, then by all means. Oh man, imagine this view. What kind of park was this? So let's see here. Just going to try to manipulate the tripod here, I guess, rather than hold it. So this is, or leave it sitting there. Center of the woods, the wooded island. So this is the view from one of the islands. Wow, I was wondering where that would have been. That's incredible. Once again, gigantic metallic metal structure dome. Enormous American flag that's probably, I don't know, that thing might be bigger than a semi truck, trailer and everything. I don't know. Absolutely insane. I would be eating my lunch there often. That's as cool as architecture gets, in my opinion. I don't know. Always been fascinated with architecture. Then I see this stuff, and the tin can buildings we have now, they don't interest me at all. To me, they're built to fail. The wooded island. So this is another view of the wooded island. Wow, that's just Central Park. I'll take this. But then again, Central Park, I'm sure, is extremely beautiful as well, and I'm sure it's a park for a reason. There's a there's a reason that land wasn't built on like everything else. Every other square inch was. So, um, there we go. I don't think I was even getting it all in the picture there. That's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Um, I feel like something's missing from the top of that building in the background. And as you can see, plain as day, there are no bells, or there is no bell in that bell tower. That's a bell. It's a bell tower right there. Um, there's no bell. So at some point in history, and this is well documented, I'm not a complete, off the rails conspiracy theorist. I believe there's an element of truth to all that kind of stuff. or it wouldn't be discussed. But it's none of my business. I can't change anything. I can't draw any attention to anything that anybody else already has or has not. I'm just fascinated and intrigued by history, and when you see so many references to what they now call the steampunk style, you're talking that's late 1800s. But what is always intertwined with that steampunk style? Always crazy, elaborate, insane technologies that seem insane. I mean, well, not to keep using that word, but that just seems unexplainable, and it's so fascinating that we're like, oh yeah, that's just that wasn't real or whatever. But they had zeppelins, they had flying machines, they had jetpacks. I mean, there was things that they've had in the past that literally, it's if you look it up, you'll find it. But I think might have a tintype of this picture right here. I've seen this picture before, one way or the other. But there's a statue of the Republic before. I don't know. I'm just fascinated by all this stuff. It's just I just lost track of. I'm looking at the book again here, and I just lose track of my train of thought. I'm just so dumbfounded. So anyway, to me that looks like a modern concrete structure there. It could possibly be older than that. As you can see, plain as day, if you look down the steps, you can see evidence of how they say they sprayed. They say they sprayed, Nessie, please. They say they sprayed the walls and all the buildings with white. So this shows, plain as day, that pedestal, whether that statue was the original one on there or not, that's painted white for sure. Now I look at the statue, and it's not quite as finely detailed as some of the others, but that's pretty impressive. But that could be plaster of Paris or something with a chain hanging off there. Very, very, very well. Had to pause there. I got a 10-pound watchdog Chihuahua. Anyway, you can see evidence that they painted. There's also evidence. I don't know if you know what I need to focus on that. And this is looking lakeward from the Statue of Industry. Okay, so that is a Statue of Industry. It has a name. Look at that. That's wiring for a light post, I believe. That's odd to me. When was this picture taken? Huh. That looks like that's wiring coming out of some sort. But I want to say that they had light posts along the shore. Let's see. Are there people there? Let's see. Let's see if there's visitors. It appears that there were visitors or something. Something looked like a bunch of people holding staffs. I don't know what is going on over there right then, but anyhow, let's continue on. So this would be the other side of the bay, looking lakeward from the Statue of Plenty. All right, let's see what the Statue of Plenty is all about. It looks like, I would say something along the lines of the Canaanites, the land of milk and honey, the land of plenty, maybe. I don't know. As you can see, there is a cow, and the Statue of the Republic, and all the glorified saints possibly up there. There's statues along the what looks like the Arc de Triomphe, Chicaga version. It's exactly the same as the one in France. Must have been quite the demolition. See, this looks like a boardwalk. That looks like a boardwalk set up. That does not look like concrete. That looks like a like a dock. And once again, wires or something. Maybe they have not set up the lamp posts yet, but as you can see way in the distance, it appears that they have some set up. And once again, people claim that was completely made out of gold, that statue. Oh man, what is that thing? Okay, south end of the California building, and this would have been the California exhibit. And I am thinking they have examples of all their things. It almost looks like they have a whole bunch of solar panels. But I'm guessing that's artwork of some sort, or prints, or photographs, probably framed photographs of you know, famous places. Maybe, I don't know, landmarks of California or other such things. I don't know. But I'm sure they have examples of the fineries that come from their land. And as well here, this is not going to be a ton I can do. It's going to want to change orientation, and then it screws the whole video up. The Tower of Oranges. Okay, so like I was saying, they make things out of walnuts and pecans, and evidently California, I'd turn it, but it's going to just mess it up, like I said. So you have a phoenix at the top there, and a tower literally made out of oranges, and you can see the man's stature in comparison to the height. And hopefully, if anybody wants to read and crook their neck, they can pause and do so. I'm just going to flip the page right here as it sits. Windsor Castle reproduced at Jackson Park. What? Serving as the roof of a pavilion near the western entrance of the manufacturer's building, there was a model of Windsor Castle, the London home of Her Majesty Queen Victoria, the not very beautiful Queen Victoria, if I'm thinking of the same lady. The pavilion was 45 feet long and 18 feet wide. Okay. Oh, I see. I was looking at, man, that was okay. All right. I'm like, huh? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, so you walk inside it and then you can see it, I guess. But there it is. It's at the top. So there's a model on top of the walls, the elaborate walls. I was looking at all the painting and thinking that it's inside the structure. But there you go. It's up there on the wall. That looks like some King Arthur stuff there. That's, I mean, that's impressive for a model. I don't know. Ontario, Canada. How about that? Just talking to somebody from Windsor. Are you? Wow, just keep getting interrupted. There are three of the loudest little girls I've ever heard in my entire life outside of my in the street in front of my house right now, behind my house, side of my house, whatever it is. Keeps driving my dog crazy. She's barking like nuts. This is kind of ironic. I was just talking to somebody, chatting in the comment section with a guy I know from, well, I don't know him, but I know of from Windsor, just literally like 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. So this is the Canada and the Agricultural Building. So this is the Canadian exhibit, obviously from Ontario, which is where Windsor is. So Windsor is right there across the lake from Detroit. And I can't really see what all is going on there, but I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what it is, but pause and read by all means. So we're almost halfway through. I'm slower than I was on the last stretch, it looks like. Western entrance of Midway Plaisance. If I pronounced that correctly, I doubt it. This is a dirt road leading up to. You obviously have one of the, let's see, a Mongolian exhibit. What was it? I can't recall. One of the Asian exhibits must have been down that way. So this almost looks like a fair to me. You have, as you can see, there's a balloon flying through the air. Looks like a general store of some sort. So this is a building. You still see buildings like this sitting there today. So this building's there, but all the ones with the marble, huge columns are not. That kind of stuff's still around. So this looks like a downtown, standard downtown. And then, I mean, it's all dirt. It's weird. I don't know. Seems weird. But anything I study ends up seeming weird eventually. restaurant over there. That's actually pretty cool. So fascinatingly to me, I heard somebody mention this before, but every time you see pictures of people in this area, it looks like they're always in their finest. It almost looks like everybody's attending a funeral, which is strange, except for the people with the straw hats. So to go into the steampunk thing again, I just never really thought anything of it. But then you play games like Bioshock. I don't know if anybody's ever played the game Bioshock. Well, it kind of puts it in your face, and then you have all this human DNA splicing and everything thrown in it as well. It just makes it one of the funnest games I've ever played. In fact, if a game ever needed to be made into a movie, it's that one. Bioshock, the movie, would be absolutely bonkers. So this is Painting of the Great Buildings. So this is, as you can see, okay, so this must be where I got the idea. I wonder if anyway, that's a sprayer. So this guy made a paint sprayer here, and they're showing it off. So as you can see, all the wires and the tubing, it's all wrapped around there, and then the men up there with the sprayer hoses. So I don't know if that was the first one, but you can pause and read by all means. Well, may as well leave it there. And then speed up some. Okay, so this is more of a Gothic looking building. That looks Bavarian to the right of it as well. So this reminds me of Bioshock Infinite. Actually, you have the little market kind of in the street there. You have a little setup there for somebody to, I don't know, shine shoes, or no, probably not a shoe shine. Probably a little marketplace shop, kind of like you see in the middle of a mall. But this is Town Hall in Old Vienna. So they had an Old Vienna section set up. But as you know, every major city's got what is now, Chinatown, or not every major city, but several of them do. And they'll have, little districts with different kinds of architectures and ethnicities. And I'm assuming this is a little something of that. They look old. That does not look like it was freshly made. That looks like it's been around a long, long time. Doesn't strike me as something new. In Cairo Street. Okay, well, I suppose these could have been plaster of Paris or something along those lines. Cairo Street. I'm blocking the dialogue there. Well, I'm not going to linger too much on this. I bought this book for the buildings that I can't wrap my brain around so much. But then again, this looks like it does have some kind of elaborate details on it. This looks ancient, actually. I need to look at this. I'll be darned. The first thing that comes to mind when I look at this building, and I zoom in on it, is the Far East. Or not the Far East, pardon me, Jerusalem. It strikes me, I immediately think about Jerusalem. I think about Israel. Immediately. Just can't even, oh, dang, I didn't realize that. You got people posing there. Oh, it flipped. There we go. We got it back. Smacked it back. Actually, I just kind of winged the thing. I don't even know what I did. I don't know tech. Okay. Wow. Just kind of plopped down there in front. All right. Interesting. Don't know what that says. Cairo Street. Okay. An early borough? Or is it a remnant of one of the three cities that was split? And anybody who knows what I'm talking about, well, if you know, you know. Reproduction of Blarney Castle. Okay, so Blarney Castle. More old-timey recreations. And women of the era there. Looks like once again in the, oh boy. Okay. The Temple of Luxor. Now, there are remnants of Egyptian structures all over America. I don't know if anybody realized that or not, but it's true. Including inside the Grand Canyon. Now, this building has several obelisks out in front of it. Just like, Washington Monument. People don't understand the Washington Monument is an obelisk. And that is a very Egyptian-looking building, obviously. very, very well could be superficial. I mean, obviously they painted right on the side of it, Egyptian temple, Luxor, Luksor, 3,400 years ago. Okay, alrighty, 3,400 years ago, if you say so. Um, don't know. I don't have the secrets in the books. Sacred tombs and another tower without a bell in the background as well. A lot of people believe that the bells have healing powers in certain frequencies. I can't think of one good reason why anybody would want all those bells out of those towers, if that's the truth. to build bombs, there wasn't enough metal and steel and all that stuff to finance the war. They had to take all the bombs. I think that was the excuse. They had to take they had to take all the bells and reform them into bombs and other forms of weaponry, and melt them down so that they could make tanks and whatnot. Or whatever they were making at the time. I don't think tanks would be accurate, but weapons of war, more or less. The little Javanese people. Okay. The South Sea Islanders. Guess we're going into the ethnicities. Okay. All right. So we're not going to spend much time on this part. The volcano of Kilauea. I'm trying to be unbiased here, but every time I see something old looking with a whole bunch of new put on it, my brain goes propaganda immediately. So pause on this if you will, but I'm not going to dwell on this long. The Algerian Theater. That's kind of buildings we see every day, still here in America. Arab spearmen of the Wild West show. Okay, so this is Buffalo Bill's Wild West show that was going on the outskirts of town. I can see how many different pieces of history they're trying to explain, or whatever they're doing. They're trying to explain a lot of history, and they're trying to reenact a lot of it. Pardon me, as well as recreate and rebuild a lot of it. So I don't really fully understand why that's happening, but I also don't understand how millions of people travel to Chicago just to see this show. It was over the course of a pretty long time, I think, but 6 months or something. I don't know how long. Interior of the Lapland Village. In front of the Lapland Village. United States Submarine Diving Exhibit. That's interesting. I'm not going to dwell on it much, though. I'm here for the architecture, more so. But you can pause and read. About 6 minutes left, if my phone doesn't flake out. This is a little more of an interesting building. Now, here, you're getting into kind of the chapel. Then you have the two, what people say is a positive and negative, conductor, so to speak. You also have kind of the onion-shaped dome down there that's Middle Eastern looking. But the Persian palace, so very fitting. So obviously they made that to look, I think that is a temporary building, I'd have to say. And then we're going to get another look at the Chinese Theater, which obviously they have another one of those in LA, I believe it is. Military Parade on Dedication Day. Wow. I'm going to have to focus on this a little bit. I might miss out on the Chinese Theater over this one. That's... Look at the helmets. What do those helmets remind me of? So the helmet's got a spike at the top with the metal, almost looks like old German helmets. I wonder if this is, no, those all appear to be the same kind of troops. I was going to say, I wonder if this is almost said Ottoman for some reason. I don't know why I would say that. Yeah, look at that. Okay. That looks very German. But the man right there looks almost Asian. That's odd. The guy in the back's got an old timey mustache. The guy right there does too. That is a phoenix in the front, and there is a pointed. I don't know what to call it. There's a spike coming out of the top of the helmet. White gloves. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 12 buttons. 12 buttons on the front of each man. This man in the back has got some insignia going on. So he's decorated. He's obviously leading the march in this squadron. Greatest festival ever seen in the Western America. Gathering in Chicago of the national government, the state governments, and the foreign legions to inaugurate the world's Columbian Exposition. You know, I can't read it all. I don't have time, but by all means, pause. Okay, let's see if we can. So that's. See, one of the buildings in the background still does have. Oh, that's a flag on the top. Okay. And they're surprisingly good. Well, that's pretty impressive. And then this is the Chinese theater again. It's going to want to flake out the camera, so. But that looks very similar to the one that's in, what is it, San Francisco or wherever the Walk of Fame is. About 3 minutes here. And I'd say pretty close to halfway through the book at this point. The Farmer's Bridge. Another fascinating, enormous building. Obelisk out front. Oh, what do we have there? Is that an atlas? That's interesting. I'm probably going to end up on this picture here, and maybe just there's a fountain next to it. So you have, that's a globe. And you have a whole bunch of bodies, people holding it up. I don't know what it says. This is the most fascinating building per picture I've seen in this episode, so to speak. Sorry about that. You got a flag there. I wish I could see what kind of flag that is, but another phoenix up there. Or, you know, people will say it's an eagle. I believe it's a phoenix. You got something in the middle, and you got a person on each side, a man, no, 2 women. Appear to be breasts reaching into, I don't know, something. Angels. Angels or warriors or something. They almost look like Roman warriors up there. This is very Romanesque to me. Very Romanesque. Extremely. Entirely. I don't even know what else to say. And then you get the statue of the Republic in the background and the thing looking like the Arc de Triomphe. I should remember the names of these. And another obelisk right there. That's the one with the boats coming out of the side of it. It's got boats with mermaids in the front or something like that. Sirens in the front of it. And you got the boat going underneath the bridge right there. And really, really gigantic doorways. I mean, even the so-called regular doors on the sides. Look how much bigger they are than the humans. Than the people. Yeah, we're people. Sorry, folks. I'm a human too. But they're small compared to that door. And then I am going to get a glimpse of the other page here just so I can put my my saved spot in a fresh page. And this is one of the fountains. This is a fountain we haven't seen yet, I believe. The circular cascade and the seahorses. This may cut off, so I'm going to say thank you for watching and God bless right now, just in case it does. Circular cascade and seahorses. And let me get it there for a few seconds here, just in case somebody needs to pause that. Okay, now That's quite an impressive fountain. That does not strike me as temporary. I wonder if that's still in Chicago. And then the building in the background, I'm trying to get a. It's a nice one. I don't know if we've seen this one yet. I'm trying to figure out what the name of this one is, but it's got a whatever's at the top of it. I don't recall ever seeing that. And then there's an eagle or a phoenix as well on the very front, on the top of where the pillars are. Maybe that's nope. That's a different building than the one on the previous page, which is actually the following page technically. That is wild looking. Maybe I'll just let this film until it quits since I've already said goodbye. That is a dancing woman. It appears pirouetting with holding a wreath, maybe. And there's a flag of, I don't know, France maybe, or okay, I'm assuming flags of the world as well. Once again, super tiny people, if they are even. Yeah, there's a man with a hat right there in the bottom. Can I get it? Oh, where's my finger? There it is. And yeah, let's see if we can. Oh, there's another statue holding the globe. I want to get a glimpse of that. I can't tell what that is there. But this, I want to see that. That's another one. So maybe that's